Max Verstappen stormed to pole position for the US Grand Prix for Lando Norris despite missing out on a final run in qualifying. Verstappen was still nearly 3 tenths ahead of Norris though as he continued his charge back into title contention and was buoyed by championship leader Oscar Piastri only qualifying 6th. Neither McLaren looked fully comfortable after the team were forced to make repairs after both drivers collided with each other in the multi-car incident in the sprint on Saturday. Verstappen won the sprint and is on course for a perfect weekend with a great opportunity to make inroads into his 55-point deficit to Piastri. He's 22 in front of Norris. Charles Leclerc took third in Ferrari's most competitive showing of the weekend ahead of McLaren's Mercedes, George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. Ferrari suddenly hit form in Q2 and continued to that into Q3, although Hamilton said he made several changes throughout qualifying to find a kind of balance. Kimi Antonelli qualified 8th with Haas's Behrman, Williams Sainz, who was 3rd in the sprint, and Fernando Alonso rounding out the top 10. Yuki Tsunoda failed to reach Q3 in 13th, while Isaac Hadjar had a massive crash early in Q1, so he'll start from the back. But for a second successive day, Verstappen took pole at Cota, but this time it was a more dominant performance. He topped all 3 parts of qualifying. Verstappen, who overtook Senna to have the third most pole positions for a single team, was unhappy with the rear of his car during the sprint, but any changes Red Bull made to their car did not affect his 1 lap pace. A stunning first lap from Verstappen in Q3 put him nearly 4 tenths clear of Norris in second, so the Red Bull gambled by leaving it late on the Dutchman's last run. However, they mistimed it and Verstappen did not cross the line in time to begin his last lap, but it didn't make a difference because Norris improved, but only to close the gap to just under 3 tenths. It was good. I think every segment the car was very strong. So Verstappen, who was 104 points in the points behind the Drivers' Championship just a few races ago, just trying to put a lap together around here. Sometimes very tricky. It's very, very hot. Strong tailwinds as well. In that first sector, having a tailwind is challenging. The first run in Q3 was good. Just managed to improve a little bit from Q2. Unfortunately, I couldn't do my final run. It was a bit messy with the outlaps. But luckily we didn't need it. McLaren were perhaps on the back foot due to a lengthy repairs ahead of qualifying from the sprint collision, as both drivers have not been driven the car in anger since Friday. Norris stated he was worried after Q1 as McLaren's were outside the top 10 and was confused why the car was a struggle. Friday I was just quite comfortable and I didn't know if everyone else has improved a bit or the wind has hurt more, but we were both struggling to put the laps in and he was just as quick as this guy Verstappen said. We were pushing and I'm still very happy with P2. It could have been worse, but there was no chance we could have got on pole. Piastri looked out of sorts and was nearly 6 tenths off pole to Verstappen and trailed Norris by 3 tenths again, similarly to sprint qualifying. The Australian's not been on the front row since the Dutch Grand Prix, but in August, and faces a battle not to lose further points to his championship rivals. He told Sky, "I don't really know, it didn't really make any mistakes, just feel like I didn't get a rhythm for the whole session, just struggled, we'll go and look why." But yeah, obviously it was a bit of a battle out there. And before I go, let me give you a quick recap of the grid. Verstappen on pole, continuing his great form. Still got a bit question marks over Red Bull's race pace. That'll be very interesting to see tomorrow, but in a great position. Norris second, I think he'll be happy with that with Piastri in 6th. He'll be optimistic for a win tomorrow. Ferrari's pace was much improved, so they'll be pretty pleased with that. Similar story for Mercedes. I think to have both cars there, they'll be relatively happy with that. But Piastri just struggled throughout the whole session, so not great from him really, and he'll be needing to make up places tomorrow. Then you've got Behrman in 8th. Good job from him. Really being the better of the 2 Haas cars this weekend. And then Sainz in 9th. Good job. Obviously not good as a sprint, but still very much in the mix for points. Similar for Alonso. Hulkenberg as well. Be disappointed with what happened at the start of the sprint. So he'll be looking to make up for that and in a relatively decent position to do so. Lawson in 12th. I think he'll be relatively pleased with that. That's probably about the best pace the V car's shown all weekend. Tsunoda will be frustrated not to take the momentum of the sprint into that. So disappointing for him. The Alpines 14th and 15th is probably a good result for them at the moment. Bortoletto struggled a bit this weekend, just not really had the pace of Hulkenberg. Similar story for Ocon. He's been quite a way off his teammates, so he'll be disappointed with that. Albon as well, obviously that track relations proved costly, and then that incident for Hadjar and the grid penalty for Stroll, but Stroll just struggling anyway. So pretty disappointing session for probably the 3 names at the back, definitely. So anyway guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily F1 news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.